Your liquid-cooled Harley left the factory with a cooling system that costs $8 to protect and $4,000 to replace, and the dealer is banking on you never learning the difference. Last summer, a rider rolled up to my bench with $2,100 in engine damage, all because he kept topping it off with the wrong jug sitting on his own garage shelf. I am counting down the 6 coolants that quietly destroy a Harley, and the 2 that actually protect it. Number 1 is the exact fluid the dealer sells for triple the price, and I am exposing the real name on the bottle. Number 6, the old green antifreeze from your dad's shelf. This is the jug in half the garages in America. Bright green, a few bucks a gallon, been going into Chevys and Fords for 40 years, and it feels like the safe universal choice. On a liquid-cooled Harley, it is one of the worst things you can pour, and here is why. That green stuff is loaded with silicates, and silicates were built for cast iron truck blocks, not thin aluminum motorcycle radiators. Over time, they fall out of the mix and lay down a gritty scale inside your radiator and coolant passages, right where the system needs heat to escape. That scale is an insulator. Read that again. It traps heat in the exact spot the cooling system exists to pull it out, so the harder your bike works, the worse it gets. The phosphates riding along in the same jug go after your rubber seals and dry them until they crack and weep. This is not a hunch. The whole car industry walked away from green silicate coolant for anything with an aluminum cooling system back in the 1990s. For exactly this reason. A dealer radiator on a touring bike runs $600 to $900 once it is scaled beyond saving. A rider brought me a Street Glide that ran warm at every stoplight, and when we opened it up, the passages were half glazed with white scale from years of green top-offs. He thought he was being careful. He was slowly cooking his own top end. Your dad was not wrong for his truck. He is dead wrong for your bike. But green is the obvious mistake. The next one fools the riders who actually read the label. Number 5, the pet-safe propylene glycol coolant. Here is one that catches the careful guys, the ones who turn the bottle over and read every line. They see non-toxic, safe for pets, biodegradable, and they think that has to be the responsible pick. That is propylene glycol. Sierra makes one, Engine Ice runs it, Bel-Ray Moto Chill runs it, most of the track coolants run it. And on a real racetrack, where a spill on hot pavement cannot be slippery or poison the crew cleaning it up, there is an honest argument for the stuff. But you are not on a track. You are stuck at a light in July on a bike whose rear cylinder is already clawing to stay under 300 degrees. Propylene glycol carries heat worse than the standard ethylene glycol, flat out. It is thicker, so the pump moves it slower, and it pulls less heat off the metal on every single pass. Riders who have actually put a temperature gauge on it, on bikes and cars both, watch the coolant climb rather than drop, sometimes 20, 30, even 40 degrees on a hot day. Now picture that in a Milwaukee-Eight, already the hottest running engine the motor company has ever built. The friendly bottle feels like the conscientious grown-up choice. On an engine that is losing the fight with heat to begin with, it is exactly the wrong tool, and your right calf files the first complaint. A rider once swore his bagger ran cooler on the green track coolant because the marketing promised it would. He had never once measured it. When we put a gauge on the rear head, it was running hotter than the day he bought it. But at least propylene glycol will not clog you solid. The next one turns to jelly and strands you on the shoulder. The Long Life Orange Coolant. You already know this jug. Dex Cool, the orange 5-year coolant, and every extended life orange that copied it since. It sounds like an upgrade off the shelf. Long life, stretch change intervals, modern acid-based chemistry, no old-fashioned silicate. The trouble is buried in how it earns that long life. The orange leans on an acid called 2-EHA to hold off corrosion, and 2-EHA carries a long, ugly reputation for chewing on certain seals and gaskets over time. That is the slow problem. The fast problem is the one that leaves people stranded. If even a little of the old coolant is still living in your system when the orange goes in, the two chemistries react and drop out as a thick brown jelly. I am not being colorful. An actual sludge, the consistency of a milkshake, and it plugs the hair-thin passages inside those little fairing radiators and strangles the flow right where a Harley has the least room to spare. This is the precise failure that hung the bad name on Dex Cool across the entire car world for a decade. And here is the honest part. It was almost always a mixing sin, not the coolant sitting there alone. On a full-size car with a big radiator, you might limp along on a bad mix for a while. On a motorcycle radiator the size of a paperback book, a jelly clog is not a slow decline. It is a dead cooling system, sometimes in one hot afternoon on the interstate. I had a rider convinced his water pump had failed. The pump was fine. The passages were packed with brown gel from an orange coolant poured over the factory red. And that mixing problem is a mistake big enough to earn its own spot. Whatever jug was already open on the bench. This is a rule, not a product, and it is the rule that strands more riders than any single bottle on the list. It is almost never the coolant by itself that kills a system. It is two coolants that hate each other, forced to share one radiator. You are a quart low on a Saturday. You grab whatever jug is open on the shelf, orange over green, green over the factory red, and you tell yourself a little top-off cannot possibly hurt. You just started a chemistry experiment inside your fairing. The reason this is so dangerous on a Harley is the same reason everything on this list is dangerous. There is no margin. A car cooling system holds a couple of gallons and has a radiator the size of a cookie sheet, so a bad mix has room to dilute and time to reveal itself. Your twin-cooled bike holds barely 2.5 quarts and pushes it through passages you could barely fit a pencil into. A reaction that would be a minor nuisance in a pickup is a hard blockage in a motorcycle. So here is the discipline. If you do not know for dead certain what is in your bike right now, you do not top it off and pray. You drain it, you flush it with distilled water until it runs clear, and you refill with one known fluid. Label the jug, write the date and the brand on a piece of tape stuck to the frame if you have to. One system, one coolant, every single time, no exceptions. And there is one more thing riders pour in, without a second thought, that quietly undoes everything else. Number 2. The water straight from your kitchen tap. Cheapest mistake on the whole list, and one of the most common, because it feels like nothing. You buy concentrate instead of premix to save a couple bucks. You go to cut it 50-50, like the jug tells you, and then you fill the mixing bottle at the kitchen sink, because water is water, right? Everything good you just did is undone in that one move. Tap water is loaded with calcium, magnesium, chlorine, and iron. And the second your engine gets hot, those minerals drop out of solution and plate the inside of your cooling system like the white crust in a 10-year-old coffee kettle. That mineral scale does the same thing the silicate scale did back in number 6. It insulates. It sits on the metal and blocks the heat from ever reaching the coolant. On top of that, the corrosion additives in a good coolant react with those very minerals and burn themselves out early. So the protection you actually paid for is spent before its time. And now, you are running an unprotected system full of scale. This is also the mistake nobody ever confesses to, because it happens in the kitchen, not the garage, and it feels too small to matter. It matters. Distilled water is under $2 a gallon, and it sits on the same shelf at the same store, 3 feet away from the concentrate. There is no version of this story where the kitchen tap was worth the $2 you saved. Now for the 2 that actually belong in your bike, and the first one is going to make you a little angry at your dealer. Number 1. The 2 coolants that actually protect it. Start with the one hiding in plain sight. The dealer sells you genuine Harley-Davidson coolant in a gold bottle for around $20-some a quart, and a full system wants 2 or 3 of them. Riders pay it, every day, because the label says Harley, and getting it wrong is scary. Here is what a V-Rod owner figured out that every Harley rider should know. He pulled the safety data sheet on the Harley coolant, the ingredient breakdown the maker is required by law to publish, and he traced it back to the real manufacturer. It is a company called Old World Industries. Harley does not brew coolant. Nobody in Milwaukee is standing over a vat, and Old World sells that identical fluid under its own name, sitting on the shelf at NAPA, for a fraction of what the dealer asks. It is called Peak Global Lifetime, in a gold jug of its own. He laid the 2 data sheets side by side, line for line. Same ethylene glycol, same diethylene glycol, same water content. The only difference on paper was a bittering agent Peak adds, so animals will not lap it up. He was thorough enough to call Old World and confirm the 2 are compatible. So the $20 Harley quart and the Peak jug at NAPA are the same coolant coming out of the same plant. You are paying for the bar and shield printed on the plastic. That is the entire premium. Now, if you want a second option sold cheap at any parts counter, look for Xerox G05, the same class of low silicate fluid Ford has trusted in gold Motorcraft bottles for years. Both of these carry the right chemistry for your bike. Ethylene glycol, so they actually move heat instead of trapping it. Low silicate, so they never scale up that thin aluminum. And here is the one word that settles every argument on this whole list. The thing you check on the back of any bottle before you pour a drop. JASO. 3 letters. That stamp means the fluid was tested against the metals and seals a motorcycle actually uses, not just a generic car block on a bench. Run the whole avoid list back through that stamp and the 2 rules behind it, and watch it fall apart. Old green fails on silicates. The orange fails on seals and on mixing. The propylene fails on heat transfer. Straight tap water fails on minerals. Every one of them trips a wire. The 2 that walk through clean are the gold Peak jug and the Xerox G05. Get the right stamp, cut it with distilled water, and a coolant change becomes the cheapest insurance policy on the entire motorcycle. $30 against a cracked head and a scaled radiator. Skip it or grab the wrong jug because it was green and familiar or orange and looked modern. I read every one of them. And if this saved you a repair bill, subscribe and I will see you on the next one.